All right. So we are in Edmonson County with Vanessa Ulm, the tourism director of Edmonson County.
Correct.
So let's start with your connection to Kentucky. Did you grow up here?
I did grow up here. I actually moved here when I was 3.
Okay.
So I was born in Tennessee, so not too far away.
That's all right.
Moved here when I was 3 and lived in Warren County in Elvaton.
Oh,
so
okay.
The same type of feel of Edmonson County, the backcountry roads, the skinny little roads, hills and valleys. So I kind of had that experience. But I mean, I've lived in Kentucky my entire life since 3. So
how'd you end up in Edmonson County?
I got married.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Yeah. So my husband and I are high school sweethearts. Oh. We met at church.
Yeah.
Rappelling up here at his parents' property at the time. They had a big bluff behind their property over by PJ's Cafe, actually, behind that. Yeah. So we met there and got married, went to Western.
Yeah.
And then got married. And we moved away for a year thinking we wanted like big city jobs, the whole thing that you aspire to be, right? Yeah, the corner office in the big city. No. Came back home and decided to build our forever home kind of halfway between both of our families.
Perfect.
And so this is where we landed.
Awesome. Yeah. So I've been here for a few days, but of course I've been up here. I sneak up here a lot.
Can't stay away.
I can't stay away.
Once you're here, you come back.
I'm over at that tailwater at the dam all the time.
That's one of my favorite spots.
That is.
It's just pretty. And Dismal Rock that's over there.
Dismal Rock.
See, now, when my husband was younger, his Boy Scout troop used to be able to rappel that.
I've talked to people, that said that they used to.
I think it's on private property now. It's like a half and half, like a little bit private over here, this and that. It's sticky.
Somebody told me the top is private.
Right.
And like the face of it is. But whatever it is, you can't get on top.
I say you can't get on top of it.
And you kind of have to be on top to rappel.
But they used to love doing that. That was like the big thing was go to Dismal Rock and rappel off of there. But I just think it's so pretty, and I love when you go down there when they're letting the water out of the Nolan Lake for the dam. Yeah. It's so cool. And then when they do like the rescue training, and you see them like jump in and stuff, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to come up for that.
And that's like Eagle Spot. That's where you see all the eagles.
Yeah, everybody tells me that. And I have not, I may have seen one day, but every time I've come to take pictures. Now, I did make close friends with a heron the other day.
Oh, they're pretty.
Yeah, I was like 20 feet away from it for about an hour.
The most epic.
I'll bore everybody with pictures of that later.
The most epic eagle encounter we've had is we were filming kind of like a little promo commercial, and we were doing kayaking there. So we were putting in kayaking, and out of the blue, like we saw a couple eagles come back and forth, right? And out of the blue, this eagle comes like perfectly soaring, like right up through, like right by Dismal. And he has this big like stick in his claws. Like he was obviously nesting, like building a nest. Yeah. It was the coolest thing.
That's
of course,
awesome.
Nobody was ready for it, right? Like we didn't have cameras rolling. Nobody had their camera out. We were all just like, you saw it. And you just watched it. That is moment. So majestic, and like we're like, anybody get that? And it's like, nope. You just it's a memory. It's natural. Like no one caught it.
It's there.
You have that experience. So yeah, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, that area is just every time I go, it's a little bit different.
Yep.
Because the water, like I went up twice this week, and the water was a little high the first day.
Yes.
And that was the day I was trying to fly fish, and I was like, this water's too high now. Like running too fast.
So you don't have any of the island, like the banks and stuff.
But then the next day I came back, and I had to make the decision. I was like, do I fish or do I shoot? And I was like, I got to get the camera out. That's really what I'm here to do. The fishing was, I got some pictures of that too.
Extra,
but,
fun on the side.
Yeah, but you got to work.
It's beautiful up
there. But it is. It's really a unique tailwater. I mean, because a lot of them that you go to, up by the dam, it's very much like you expect with the overlook and the spillway and everything.
Yes.
And you have that first little run that's just straight and fast. But then, the way it kind of braids out.
I know.
You've got that little rock island there.
So pretty.
So pretty.
It's very peaceful.
So good for fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've caught.
I've seen all ages out there fishing, and I love it. And even when the water's a little higher, they have those like little inlets that kind of come off right before you get to the tailwater. I mean, just, like the little puddles kind of thing, and you'll see people fishing there. And I love like watching the kids fish there with their families and stuff. They just get like ecstatic when they get like the little fish out of there. It's really cute, but it's a good spot for it.
I get ecstatic too. So
I don't touch fish,
but I also love that they have trout up there.
Oh yeah.
They stock that. So I always try to keep an eye on when they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So
our Corps of Engineers is really good with that spot.
Yeah.
Because they're in charge of that. And their office, of course, is what you can see on that overlook that's over there.
Yeah.
And they're really good about that.
Yeah. And not to diminish the lake, but I mean.
Oh, no, but I know that sweet spot where the sun hits it.
No,
and
I've been up there.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
The sunsets there
just peaceful.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a good launch point, too, if you're going to start kayaking for the Blue Ways. That's like the perfect spot because you can get in and out easily. It's not a fast moving current at that point unless it's like really high water, then you probably shouldn't be kayaking anyway.
Right.
But it's really nice. It's a good launch point.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Blue Ways.
Okay.
Because I know that's a big thing around here.
It is a big thing around here.
So yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Nolan and Green River Blue Ways, and we were designated with that a couple years ago. But the great thing about that is that it's the first and only national water trail designated in Kentucky.
That's incredible.
And the majority of that Green River, that's running through Mammoth Cave National Park. So double whammy.
Pristine.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. Easy current, easy paddle level for everybody, whether you're a kid or you're seasoned. We have really good gentle waters with that.
Except for Lock 6.
Except for Lock 6.
I went down there the other day and I was like,
a little rapidy.
That's a little, dicey,
rapidy.
But
yeah. If you want a little bit of whitewater rafting adventure,
a little bit,
just a little taste, then go to Lock 6.
Yeah.
But they're actually removing some of the rest of the lock.
Oh, okay.
Lock 5. So we're going to see what that does with our river. That could change a lot. But our Green River here that runs through Brownsville, our county seat, and then that's part of the Blue Ways. It is, it's just one of those places that has a little bit of everything, but it has the mussels in it. And it's a big deal for, the Nature Conservancy and the National Park to protect those, because I think I can't even quote you how many species, but we have some very rare species. I know that. And so it's not as easy as just moving things around or building this or that, they're really wanting to protect those. So you'll see that a lot. And that sometimes is why maybe the ferry might be closed because, if the water's too low. And I think, everybody was like, we just need to build a bridge. And I think everybody would love that. Yeah. And maybe that's in the future because that would behoove locals and visitors.
Yeah.
But that, that's federal. So and you're talking species that are protected.
Yeah,
so,
that's a big deal.
It's not just easy, like sign the paper and do it.
Right.
But our Green River, when they take Lock 5 out, we'll see what that does with the flow of that river.
Yeah.
But it's really good right now for kayaking.
Yeah.
So.
No, I wanted to get out there and it just didn't work out. But
yeah.
It's beautiful. And every place, even Lock 6 wasn't really that crazy.
No,
there were a few little
fun to go down,
spots.
but if you're not expecting it, you're like, ooh.
But I did see a sign. It was like, portage around this.
Yes,
like, oh,
yes.
but,
and I think if you take off at the tailwaters, there might still be a sign there that, that kind of says, just beware. You know, we have gentle, calm waters and it'll take the current. You can float. It's not like it's a strenuous paddle unless you want to have that kind of trip, you know. Otherwise, it's just a beautiful leisurely float. But, when you get to the tiny mini rapids,
Well, and that's what I've talked to a few people about the Green River and it being just one of the most biodiverse.
Absolutely.
And really in the country. I know in the state it's known as, and people don't necessarily talk about the Green River all over the state. But maybe that's a little bit of a good thing. Keep a few people. We want to get people over here to get on the water.
Yeah.
And,
considering that runs mostly through Mammoth Cave National Park.
Yeah.
You can spend a whole day doing something over there.
Yeah.
Get on the river, cave tour, hiking, biking, and all that stuff. So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But we're really proud to have the first and only national water trail in Kentucky. Cool. Yeah, part of that, and a lot of that, running through Edmonson County.
Yeah.
It's good really for kayaking, canoeing,
fishing. Yeah. Yeah. I know there's good fishing out there.
Absolutely.
I hear people talk about the smallmouth fishing in the Green River. That's a big.
Oh yeah. They come specifically for those guys.
For that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to do that. I'll put that on my to-do list.
Fish.
Get out there and
go fishing.
Do my smallmouth fishing for my kayak.
Let us know if you catch anything.
Yeah, I'll take pictures.
You have a kayak? you fish with kayak? Kayak fishing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's a big deal up here.
Yeah.
Kayak fishing.
It's grown so much in the last probably 10 years. It's crazy how much.
Yeah.
And then the COVID, COVID was what it was, but a lot of people got into kayaking and stuff like that during that time, it seems like.
So controversial to say maybe, but COVID was awful But what it did for counties, really Kentucky, because everything is so outdoor focused and adventurous. When you were supposed to be 6 feet from people and all you could do was go outside and you had to be away, and this is a sweet spot for that, because Edmonson County and then the surrounding region, that's all what we offer. We're outdoor adventure.
Yeah.
So come on, you can be 6 feet from someone and breathe in the fresh air. You're not crammed into something together. You have that opportunity to get out and you have that elbow room.
Yeah.
So we kind of thrived during that. And I know like Mammoth Cave National Park, Nolan Lake State Park, they saw visitors still coming and seeing them because it was outside.
Yeah. You can come.
That was what you were technically allowed to do during that time period.
Yeah.
And I think that whole outdoor adventure boom is still going on, because we're still seeing people who they want those smaller city vacations, family vacations. You see a lot of, guys trips, girls trips, and they want to do fun things, but it's more about they want that experience. So they want to do, everybody go kayaking, whether they've ever done that before or not, or like go rent a pontoon at the, marina and just go out on the lake. I mean, or go horseback riding. Yeah. People want to do that now, and they're still wanting to do that because I think everyone kind of like reignited their love of nature during that time period. Well, you had to, unless you just wanted to stay indoors. You had to find something to release the energy that, being pent up made you be.
I think there's too, like, we're also digital.
Oh,
we're online.
For sure.
We're always in front of these screens and stuff.
For sure.
And I think there's sort of like this hard pushback against, like, I sit in a cubicle and I'm on front of a screen. Get me out in Mother Nature for a little while. Yeah. But again, this is the perfect place to come.
It is.
This whole
you
Caveland
got every
area.
level that you want of outdoor adventure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I went up to the state park and did the little waterfall trail the other day.
Oh, I love that trail.
Yeah. And even, I mean, the waterfall wasn't flowing real strong, but it was going.
Yeah. Trickle or not, it's still pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty, and it was
sounds
cool
pretty.
out there.
Yeah. The park's doing a lot. The manager that's there, she's fantastic. She's got a lot of great ideas. Yeah. So they're really, our park is different than like maybe Barren River State Park, because they have the lodge and the restaurant. We don't have that. I mean, ours is really, it has the beach, which is really cool when you say, I'm going to the beach in the middle of Kentucky, in cave country, I'm going to a beach. But they also have fantastic like RV sites and the primitive camping for people who want to wrestle with a tent and put that up, torture themselves.
Yeah.
Some people love that.
I was this close to doing it on this trip. It was
I
a little
grew
hot.
up doing that.
Yeah.
And it was fun. You know, I mean, I have really fond memories of camping with my family.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, like hardcore camping. Like we would pitch the tent, we would build the campfire, and we would cook over the campfire. I mean, we did it all. And I remember taking the canoe, and like my sister and I would, overturn the canoe, like just playing in the water, while mom and dad are over here doing their fishing stuff or something. Like I remember that. And I think that's what people crave. I think they want that family time where you do unplug. 2 reasons to unplug here. We're so far out, sometimes internet doesn't want to work.
I've definitely been dealing with that, but that's a good thing.
It is. Like usually. In the cave, other than directions and people wanting to be able to like search for things. We have this debate that, do people still use maps? Do people still use brochures? Do you invest that time and money in doing that? Like, do they want a physical piece of paper? Because everything's Google Maps, everything is online. And we've noticed when people come here, they still want that no matter the age. We always thought like maybe the older generation is used to that, and that's what they want, like, do you want a Nook or do you want a book, right? Like you want something like in your hand. Yeah. But we've noticed that people still want that, because if their GPS doesn't work, they still want to know where to go and what to do. And they also want something physical to like look at pictures and read things about, like they still want that, like kind of that traditional paper kind of thing.
I still grab brochures.
I do too. Like I like to open them and read it, look at the pictures. And
I will tell everybody out there watching, if you come here, get the paper map.
Get the paper map.
Because you may not be able to use your phone.
That's
you
true.
may not
That's
be able,
true.
I mean, I've run into that a lot.
In the park, I mean, that, being federal territory, and the fact that it's like the natural terrain that it is, I mean, it's like in some of the other parks, if you go through the mountains, it blocks it. Same thing with all of the trees and the valleys that we have here in the hills. So it's going to block that signal. So you never really know. So get the paper brochure and map just in case you have to go old school.
You're probably going to have to at some point. But the beauty out here too is if you get lost, it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just anywhere you drive,
you'll happen upon something at some point.
You're going to find something. Yeah. But it's also just like, this is one of those areas that you just drive the back roads, and that is the adventure for part of the time.
It is the adventure.
I mean, the rolling hills and everything else.
You kind of never know.
Longhorn cattle I've seen. I wasn't
horses,
expecting that.
Yes,
horses.
Yes. And all the wildlife that decides to trot across. The deer, the turkey, the rabbits.
I had to stop for a fox the other day.
Oh, I know. The foxes are out this year a lot.
One just came darting across, and I was like, well, okay, that just happened. That was cool.
You know what I love? We joke about this because this is our backyard.
Yeah.
So we live this, like this. We drive this every day. We're seeing all those animals. We know that you're going to have to watch out for deer. We know that kind of stuff. I love it when you see people who will post pictures and they'll like tag Edmonson County or Mammoth Cave or something like that. Or you're driving through the cave and you have to slow down because the car in front of you is like hanging out the window trying to take pictures of the deer.
Yeah.
And the deer, I think, are just like, okay, whatever. I don't care about you. Because they will just eat on the side of the road and they don't get scared and move.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make sure they don't dirt in front of your car, but they're just grazing. Like that's their territory.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it because everyone's like, I saw deer. I saw a fox, and I'm like, you forget that. Some people, I mean, when they come here, that's what they want to, that their experience is the wildlife. It's Mother Nature, it's outdoors. And that's something we probably take for granted because it's our backyard.
Yeah.
We can play in that every day.
Well,
it's gorgeous.
I was out at the national park yesterday and filming a squirrel. Because
so cute.
Because it was just like right there. It was like 10 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And it was, there was a lady hiking and she saw me and she was like, I'm going to be real quiet. And I was like, it's just a squirrel. Like, don't.
Yeah.
She was like, no, it's still cute.
Like
she was excited that it was there too.
I still get excited about it too. Like if I see a deer, the fawns, when you go when it's fawn season, oh my gosh, they're so pretty and cute. You can't help it.
Yeah.
Take a picture. You're like so proud that you saw this wildlife.
But this is such a great place to see that. Yeah. I mean, you'll see deer, but you're not going to see them up close and personal like you do here.
Well, and then if you see an eagle, you feel like, I didn't know eagles were in Kentucky. Like not many people know that we have eagles in Kentucky, and they're gorgeous and they're in abundance.
Massive.
When they are huge, and I love it because a lot of the times any of the canoe trips that you take, whether it's Nolan River, Green River, you'll see all the nests, and it's really cool to see actually how many nests we have here of eagles. It's you just don't think Kentucky and eagles. You don't think that, but they're in abundance here. Now
you get the sandhill cranes here too, don't you?
Yes, we do.
And that's kind of a big...
They're pretty cool looking. Yeah. People like to look at those.
That's on my little logo. That's what the bird is on there. Because
they're cool.
I think they're cool. And the fact that they're making such a comeback.
I know.
That's an
incredible... I love when you're in the river and you can see like one of the islands in the middle, like the rock islands or something. They're just sitting on there. Or, like standing there. They're just so pretty and majestic. Yeah.
They're here, in the late fall and then midwinter?
Yes. And your eagles are more like your springtime. You'll see those more because they're like the March.
Yeah.
Couple months after that, so
those cranes make such a weird noise too.
I don't know if I've heard one.
I'm not going to try to do it.
Please
look that up.
Please,
but they make this sound, and I can't even try to.
Well, maybe I've heard it. I just didn't know it was them because you don't ever. Yeah.
Well, and you may not see them when they're doing it because they're so high. They fly really, really high. Yeah. So they're.
I'm going to have to go look that up, or go sit at the tailwaters and just listen for a sandhill crane.
As soon as you hear it, you'll be like, "Okay, that's it." Like, and then to look, and you'll hear it way before you see them.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can't think about what they sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try.
There you go. Check that out.
Yeah. Go up to the park and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about Mammoth Cave and the backyard, I mean, you are.
Yes, we are. Edmonson County, we kind of call ourselves the back porch.
The back porch.
Yes, because we have the majority of Mammoth Cave in Edmonson County.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of that is obviously beautiful landscape, like trees, and the lush forest and that kind of stuff. But we kind of call ourselves the back porch. We've got the majority of the park in Edmonson County. And I have to say that we have such a great relationship with the park, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
Because I don't think everybody has that connection, know? In Mammoth Cave, they have a fantastic relationship with all of the surrounding
That's good.
counties and tourism commissions. They're very involved in the community and wanting to make sure that we have the information we need and that we work together. And I love that because that helps us so much. Because when you really think about it, for Edmonson County, everything we have is outdoor adventure and activities, right? But our anchors are Mammoth Cave and Nolan Lake State Park. So you kind of got those on each end that run up the side of Edmonson County. So those are kind of our bread and butter. Like people are coming here for that. And then they're looking like, well, okay, what more can I do while I'm here? And a lot of times it's family vacation. So what can the kids do? Or what can we all do together? And so the park is number one, right? Like you're going to go hiking. You can bike there. They've got the wildflower trails. They have the Junior Ranger program. Like they're doing like the night sky stuff. I think that's fantastic. They actually just came out with soundscapes. Did you know that? Have you seen that? They have recorded sounds from the park that you can then go and like listen to. So it's like, your white noise, right? Like, so you turn that on because it's peaceful and stuff. They've got soundscapes now that you can go and listen to. And I just love that they're so involved in the community and they want to make sure that we can help promote them and vice versa. Because people are coming here probably to go to the cave. And so get your cave tour, above ground, below ground, all that stuff. And then, but the other things you're going to do is why Edmonson County and the surrounding tourism directors kind of work so close hand in hand because we want to promote the region. It's, the Cave Country region, because that's why they're here. A lot of times that's what's bringing them here. And then they want to know what else to do. And so that's why you get your paper brochure. It says it all in there.
Well, but I think that's what's neat too, is you can kind of go to the corners of the park, I'd say, and you're going to get different experiences wherever you are. And so if you're, and not to get outside of the realm of what we're talking about, but like here is really the kayaking, the hiking, the horseback trails.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff. So if you really want to go deeper into that side of things, this is where you need to be.
Agreed. And when you said that about horseback trails, I know you've been to Double J Stables.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they're some of my favorite people for multiple reasons. I could talk all day about why I love them. But what's really unique about their ranch is that they're the only certified ranch that is able to take guided trail rides on the backcountry trails, the equestrian trails of Mammoth Cave National Park. And so that's so cool because you're not just kind of like going in a field circle. Like you're legit horseback riding in Mammoth Cave, like on their backcountry trails and all the stuff that you see when you do that. It's amazing. So I love that they do that.
Yeah, I think that I was talking to one of the guides yesterday and she was talking about how, she can feel the difference when they get by some of the cave entrances and stuff.
Yes.
And just being able to point out to people like, look, we didn't just go into the belly in the land and it feels a little cooler. Like you're legit getting some natural air conditioning.
Exactly.
Which is an experience you may not really know if you're riding on your own. You may not recognize it. Oh, that's what's going on here.
Right. So right down the road from Double J is our Mammoth Cave Horse Camp. Now they don't do guided trail rides, but it's a legit horse camp. Like you bring your horse, your trailer, you set it all up, and you can go on those trails as well. And I love that too, because you get those repeat people who know the trails and know the cave. Like, I'm going to go get some air conditioning. They know to ride their horses there because they have annual events. And I think it's always, repeat customers and bringing new people because they have access to those trails and they start to learn it's not just a trail in the backcountry. Like you said, you're going next to a cave and you're getting that cool air and you're seeing those wildflowers and you're seeing all of the wildlife. And so I think you really start to appreciate that. And it's not just a basic trail,
Well, yeah, and you're in a national park, so you are very much in the the natural. There's nothing artificial going on out there because you can't.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's beautiful there.
Well, and I was amazed too, like just traveling around. When I was down at Maple Retreat, staying down there, and there were a couple of cave entrances that they showed me there.
So we're cave country, obviously,
right?
Mammoth Cave is a big one.
But it's not just Mammoth Cave.
I was going to say, but it's not just Mammoth Cave. And as a plug for all of my peers, we have tons of show caves or, locally owned caves that you can do tours of.
Yeah.
And we have so many properties in Edmonson County just because of the terrain that there's caves on those. Like people have their own personal waterfalls and their own personal cave entrances. And it's so cool, you know?
I think Hart County was telling me that they had counted 2,000 cave entrances in their county, just in Hart County.
Yeah.
And I mean, hard telling how many you have here
gracious.
Because there's probably not even a survey been done of the whole park.
Oh,
I mean, there's no way.
I mean, and we have, which I learned as a tourism director when I came into this job, we have a lot of natural arches here, but a lot of them are on private property.
Yeah.
Or you may just happen upon them. We've got a what am I trying to say? It's not a horse camp, but it's rental properties, but they've got, I think, 10 or 11 cabins, and they're Mammoth Cave Cabin Rentals. They're up by Nolan Lake State Park. And they have, I mean, it's an expansive property, and they have beautiful cabins. And I've gone there and taken a little tour with the owners, and they have a beautiful waterfall that's kind of like, I mean, it's not really like a cave, but it's an inlet, and it's kind of like, it's gorgeous. And they've got steps that go down to it. So if you're staying on their property,
you can go.
I mean, it's yours. I mean, they have hiking trails. They have this beautiful waterfall. They have huge lakes that you can fish and kayak in. I mean, it's like an all-encompassing vacation.
All right there.
So, yeah, and it's all sitting in Edmonson County.
Yeah.
You know, and they just bought that land, and it's like, oh, here's a cave. Here's a waterfall. Congratulations. You know, lucky you.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
But you talk to people here, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got a little cave on me. It almost kind of back to your point about like, I saw a fox.
Yeah.
I own a cave.
Yeah, I've been in it a couple times. It's fine. You know, I went exploring. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine. We haven't done much with it.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah, I got a cave.
Yeah, but it really is because, I mean, you hear caveland, cave country, and all that, and you think, okay, well, it's because of Mammoth Cave.
Yeah.
And even the other show caves. We did a whole episode just not too long about the cave wars.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that.
That's a good one to go into.
But there's really, I mean, just the incredible number of places that hiking you'll see. Like we were talking about Nolan State Park, and there's that waterfall there.
Yeah.
That you just hike out. And it's like a 10-minute hike.
I know.
It's nothing to get out to it. But you get out there and you're like, you might hear a boat. Yeah. From the lake, but otherwise you're kind of secluded back there, and it was nice. It was hot the other day, and I got out. I was like, I'll stick my head under this. I don't know if I was supposed to. Don't tell anybody.
I'm not going to tell a soul. I'm not going to tell him.
Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we got some good terrain out here.
You do.
We got a lot of deep-rooted families that live in Edmonson County. And so you have a lot of county pride and a lot of like my grandfather, my grandmother, so-and-so, such a, you know, property passed down, a lot of farmland. But one of the first things I wanted to do when I became tourism director, I really wanted to make like a directional sign that we would put out by our courthouse, like on the main highway or the main thoroughfare. And I wanted to put all of the community names because we have some really unique community names. Okay, you know, we've got Cleviot. And if you go and look up Cleviot, it looks like Chalybeate. You know, we have like Rocky Hill, Cave Hollow, Cove Hollow, Pig. You know, you gotta love Pig. I was gonna say Porky Pig Diner, Pig for lunch, and then we've got like Icy Sink and Bee Spring, Lincoln. I mean, I could just go on and on. And so I wrote down everything that I thought of. I asked kind of some of like our little historians in the county that they just, if you need to know something, you know that you go to Norman, you go to this person, you go to that person, and our historical society. And the list kept growing to the point where it was going to be impossible to make that sign because there were so many community names. And when you have such community pride and people who are so deeply rooted to the county, you do not dare leave out a name. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to the point where I was like, I can't make a sign with like 50 directional arrows on it,
gosh, Yeah.
And so that's one thing you have here. Like we're big on our Southern hospitality. You know, I mean, we always say that tourism doesn't work unless your locals are on board. And so, we don't want to be some big fancy city with skyscrapers and all that kind of stuff, right? Like we are a very quaint community. like I said, deeply rooted in history, rich history, and people are very proud of that. And so you have to be careful, like how much you grow or change, you know, like you have to keep up with things. So you don't become, you know, an obsolete community, you know, or a pit stop for someone, like drive, you know, blink and you miss kind of thing. You don't want to be that.
Right.
But you want to make sure you are shining your community, you know, and you're celebrating that. And sometimes it's overwhelming because I cannot put 50 arrows on a, you know, with like all the community names,
all the places.
And I wanted to do it because we have such unique and quirky names.
We do. And
there's a lot of history behind some of those names. You know, like you go through Rocky Hill. Have you been to Rocky Hill? Okay, so there's there's Rocky Hill Inn, and it's now a bed and breakfast. But it has a massively rich history. Like it's legit, like right off the L&N Railroad.
Oh,
and so that's why there was a whole Rocky Hill town, and basically a fire burned it all down. What's left there is the Rocky Hill Inn, and the owners have turned it into, it's had multiple owners, but it's a beautiful property. Now they have tea parties there. Like you can stay there and book a tea party. And the train still goes by. But if you go there, like you'll see some of the older buildings that survived, but really just serve as a landmark, you know, like, you know, an old kind of landmark. So there's so much history in our little communities, and some of them have the quirkiest names. Yeah. You know? But
well, and I've noticed that. We were talking about this before we got on, but like so many of the communities are still alive too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I travel a lot, and I go through a little community, and I'll see a sign that says "Go this way for," and there's nothing there, or there's some empty buildings. And you have a lot of towns that still have a thriving little core to it, and and I'm not saying it's like blocks and blocks of it, but you can tell that's the hub for those people in that area,
and
that's
those people
unique.
Are very proud of that area, and they're proud of that business or that, you know, or that dining location, or if it's a little shop or something like that. And churches are huge out here. I mean, you know, it's one of those, you're very closely tied to your community church around here, because some of them are just very old and they have so much history, and their family's been there for generations. So a lot of that is preserved, or it's celebrated around here, you know, and it makes for a rich community. I know your hub is downtown, but honestly, it's you know, it spiders out, and the whole of Edmonson County has a lot of community pride, and there's a little something in every community, and there's a story for all of it, you know. And you could probably go to every community and find the one person that like really knows the history and just get an earful.
Well, and I think that's something unique here too, that if you want to come kind of see how it was when communities were dispersed like this. You know, because you go to a lot of places that have maybe a bigger highway through them.
Right.
And everything consolidated around where did the two highways. But here you've got, what is it, 259 that comes up through. But that's not necessarily a main.
No, and
that's not like you would think of like 65
exactly,
or even 31.
That's kind of what makes Edmonson County unique in a sense, is we are not right off an interstate exit. So you may happen upon us, right? If you get off on the right exit and you come through 259. But a lot of times you kind of have to want to come here. Like something's bringing you here. And then that's why we want to offer more for when you're here. But, you know, we're not off that main corridor. And so it hasn't all consolidated into one. We're still spread out to where when you come here, you're going to go to all these different places. You know, like you can come to your hub, right? But then if you go over here, you're going to get another hub of something. Because, you know, we still thrive in some of our communities with things. So. There's a whole rich history about Kai Rock.
I was going to bring up Kai Rock because that's such an interesting one. The name is interesting, but then I came across at the Green River Museum, they had a chunk of Kai Rock there. And I was like, all right, now I got to figure out like that. But it's a thing and a place, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So what is Kai Rock? I'll let you
It's a quarry. This. I mean, it was in the back in the day, it was a rock quarry. And so I'm sure that's part of why they also had the railroad, because they had the rock quarry that they were doing. And so they have, you know, super big proud fall out there with Kai Rock because of what it used to be, you know. And I mean, not a lot of it's left. because things change. But that community has rallied around, and they've kept the name, and the reasoning for it is because it was a humongous rock quarry back in the day.
Well,
and it provided tons of jobs.
Wasn't there a particular kind of rock that came out of there that they...
You're going to ask me that.
Yeah, well...
We're going to have to research
something came out of there, though, but that was what they originally had the Indy 500, right? The Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'm going to be able to tell you what it is because I can't think of
it was the name of it. I thought they called that Kai Rock.
Well, the rock is Kai Rock.
The rock itself was, I thought, called... See, this is where I get confused with it, too.
It was called Kai Rock.
Yeah. But it was basically like blacktop or asphalt, but it was natural. It wasn't like...
Exactly.
Now there's this whole process that
Correct. It was natural, and they happened upon that, and it that's when that community boomed. That was the big deal over there until that, other things came upon and replaced that, and then, that slowly died out as a need. So, but
that's such a cool part of history right there.
It's neat.
The Indy 500.
We need to talk to some historians in here that they would be able to rattle all that off.
Oh yeah. Well, we can do
it's fascinating, but
that's just one of those little tie-ins that. Yeah. Plus, I love that name, Kai Rock.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the elementary school there. Is it an elementary school or?
It is. We have 2 elementary schools. We have South Edmonson, which is on the south side in good old Cleveland. And then Kai Rock Elementary is located in Kai Rock. Okay. And then our middle school and high school, they are in our 5-6 center. We have a little bit different format here with our schools. They're all within city center. So they're all in Brownsville.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know what? This community or this county is growing. By leaps and bounds growing. And so we're going to, it's one of those things you have to shift after a while, right? Like you want to stay valid, but you still want that small community feel, but we are growing. People are moving here from the coast. I mean, that's something everyone's knowing is people are coming in from the coast to the inlands. Yeah. And we're getting a lot of people here from California, Texas, Florida. We have a lot of people coming in. And if you ask them, it's because, cost, right? I mean, things here are going to cost much less than when you're in the big cities on the coast, but they're also looking for a slower way of life, right? To calm down, to leave those crazy, stressful jobs, the traffic jams, the smog, all that stuff. And they want to come somewhere where it feels homey and it feels comfortable and natural and walk outside and you have grass, not asphalt, I mean, it's a different type of living. And if that's what you're craving, we're seeing a lot of people move in for that reason.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going to have a 30-minute commute, it's better to have it through the country, and it's a beautiful drive. I've done that suburban. I went 8 miles and it took me an hour commute. Oh yeah. It's just, that's miserable.
No thanks.
I don't know how people.
I don't. But spend your whole life in a car, going to and from.
Yeah, at least here when, I've put on a lot of miles in Edmonson County, getting from here to there, because with the park, it is a little bit.
It's a little tricky. Yeah, getting around.
But it's easy driving.
Yeah.
And there's not, you don't get into huge traffic jams.
Exactly.
And nobody seems to be in too big a hurry.
No, everybody's just going about their day.
Moseying along and getting where you got to go.
When you say that about the park, that's one thing I wanted to make sure to mention is that when I moved here, I noticed that people who built businesses, whether it be the golf courses, we have a disc golf course, whether it be the horseback riding, the off-road park, the marina, whatever, everybody took into account the landscape. Nobody changed the landscape to make it fit.
Yeah.
They just worked with the landscape. Like our Park Mammoth Golf Club and Shady Hollow Golf. It's some of the most unique golf that you'll see because they kept the valleys and the hills and the tree line, and they just worked with what they had. So to make it beautiful and challenging, but also so it's a lovely round of golf, right? Like you're plopped down in the middle of cave country playing golf, and it's gorgeous.
We drove through there, and I was so intimidated looking at that golf. I haven't played in a long time anyways, but I was like, oh my gosh, I would be playing from 2 holes over. The way but it was beautiful. It's just rolled, and you're on top of that hill, and I was like, this is...
And if you're out there early morning with the dew and the sun hits it, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And our disc golf course, okay, admit, I don't know disc golf. Like, I don't know golf. I can drive the golf cart, but you probably don't want me hitting a golf club. But enough. Now I did go out with the owner of the disc golf course because I was like, what is, show me what this is. Because, you know, I want to help market this and bring people, I mean, disc golf's huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, that was like, boom, that was another kind of COVID situation. You know, you could be outside. It's something that was interesting to do. And you could play by yourself or in a group, but apart.
And it's fairly inexpensive.
It is. Yes. And so, and it's just a fun thing. I mean, you see disc golf courses everywhere. So the gentleman here that has Hickory Cabin's disc golf course, he's got 3 different courses, but one of them is actually designed by apparently a master course designer.
Oh, okay.
I know, like, he's like super big in the disc golf world. John Huck is his name.
Okay.
Apparently he's super big.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's like the guy.
Yeah.
And so he is, I think, currently helping with one that they're renovating, but Mammoth Cave Disc Golf, he did. Okay. And the course is amazing. And when I taught Frank, who is the owner, went around with him in the golf cart and just, you know, looked at like, what is disc golf? Mm-hmm. It's insane because normally when you see disc golf, it's fairly flat. It's in a field or something like a park, and you can kind of see where you're going.
Yeah.
This up here, they legit took the terrain and made a disc golf course. So I mean, you're flying discs through like angles of trees and stuff. Like it's neat. Like you want a very unique but yet professional, because it was done by a master course designer course. I mean, they get people internationally that come here to play and tournaments and everything. And so I just like that people appreciated the God-given land.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're like, what can I do with this? Like, I want to have a business. But people here, any business, they seem more about taking care of the people, or like Double J taking care of their horses before they're worried about the tourism dollars. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we have the majority of our businesses here are mom and pops. They're small businesses, and we all know, you know, shop local, spend big, right? Because you're supporting these local businesses. And, you know, one thing my family does on vacation is we try to go to the non-chain things, right? Like we try to experience something that you're only going to get in that area, because you're experiencing something new. I'm also trying to show my kids, like, do something like this, like support an artist or support this mom and pop shop or this restaurant, you know? And so I enjoy that people here they do things for the love of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then when people come in, that's just icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
And so then my job as tourism director is entice them to get here.
Right.
And then work with all of these businesses to get them through the door, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but I love that people here recognize that, and they took into consideration what was in front of them and didn't change what was in front of them. They embraced it. No, and so it's not a touristy feel, and you're getting a very authentic landscape experience. You're seeing Edmonson County in every single thing that we have to offer you.
Yeah, you don't feel like somebody just lopped off the top of a hill to put in a big hotel.
Exactly.
I mean, you almost have to stay in
you're in a short-term rental.
Short-term rental kind of situation.
Yeah, we don't have hotels and motels here. Yeah. Like, it is all short-term rentals, and you can get everything. I mean, we've got it all. You got the luxury lake houses, the like little rustic cabins, apartments, B&Bs. I mean, what do you need? You know,
I was going to say, looking at
it. A Conestoga wagon kind of cabin, or a Conestoga wagon rental on one of our properties.
Oh, wow.
And it's really neat. And we have tree houses. Like, we have it all.
I know. I want to go see the tree houses.
Everything is so cool. And the way that a lot of people have decorated them so that they are Edmonson County focused. You know, like, you feel like you're home away from home, but you don't feel alienated when you're there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very comfortable.
Yeah, you're just nestled into the woods.
Yeah,
you're nestled.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, if you want to, I stay in hotels sometimes too. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Yeah. But you come over here, and I think that goes back to that whole, like, what experience do you want? And if you want that experience of, I'm gonna be in this little cabin in the woods, and then we're gonna get our hands dirty. We're gonna build a fire. We're gonna. But maybe not camp. Well, you can camp here too. But some people don't want to camp.
No.
But still want to kind of have that rustic.
Glamping.
That's
where the glamping comes in.
There's the glamping. And you can kind of get that balance. Yeah. Yeah, and not feel like you're, I mean, I parked on a gravel lot.
I know.
That's what.
I know.
But to me, that was kind of cool because I was like, all right, this is like.
I know. It's pretty nice.
Just
well, you know, like we were saying, like lopping off a hill to put in some sort of luxury out of place item, you know. But like, so Park Mammoth Golf Club, they just opened their new golf clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that's called? Golf clubhouse? What's the right term for that? Pro shop and clubhouse.
The clubhouse.
Okay. Words.
Well, it is a golf clubhouse, but it sounds weird when you put those words together.
Yeah. The clubhouse and the pro shop. But it is gorgeous, but it's rustic looking, but it's like rustic luxury. So it fits. It fits the terrain. It fits the theme, but you kind of feel like you're walking into like this really nice country club. Mm-hmm. But you don't, it's not stiff feeling, you know, like it just fits. It fits what's around you. It's not out of place.
I drove by, I didn't get to go in, but when they were taking me on a tour of that property out there, I drove by it and I loved how it was just tucked in there.
Yeah.
Like again, it didn't look like, it wasn't sitting in the middle of the field.
Yep.
It wasn't, it was just like somebody looked and they said, okay, this looks like if we build it this shape and make it look, it'll just tuck right in here. And it felt like
it just feels very natural.
Yeah.
Addition to, you know,
Yeah. Which actually makes a lot of sense anyways.
I think so too.
It's gotta
I just appreciate that people do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not trying to be something that you're not.
Right.
You know, we want to stay an outdoor adventure vacation destination.
Yeah.
So you can't go overboard with that. You can't suddenly start building the skyscrapers and, you know, the very futuristic looking buildings. That's just not the feel and the flavor of Edmonson County.
No. But also, I mean, if you really, really need that in your life, you're not that far from it. I mean, it's like you guys
places to go.
You guys are so close to everything.
Oh, yeah.
But still, in a sense, like so far, I was looking at the map and I was like, I'm as close to home in Bowling Green when I was as I was to the horse stable. But it felt like a million miles difference.
Yep.
Because
that's what I love about Cave Country is, like I said earlier, we all work so well together as tourism directors, and just, I don't know, we all just work very well together, and I appreciate that. You know, might as well work together. I would say hold hands, kumbaya, then you know, try to fight one another on things. But you can get to one spot to another in no time at all.
Yeah.
Like if you want to eat here, but you want to go up to Dinosaur World and then go over to, you know, Kentucky Down Under. And there's just all these things that you can do within this frame. And, you know, we always say tourists don't know county lines. They don't know where they're staying versus what they're doing. They're coming here because they want an experience. A lot of times it's that family vacation experience. So I am very happy that we have surrounding counties and tourism commissions that are willing to work together because we see the benefit of bringing people to the area, because then we all benefit.
Right. Yeah.
And hopefully good word of mouth, and you're getting more visitors.
Well, maybe you come that first time and you do it sort of the get off 65 and go to Mammoth Cave way. Right. Which is probably how a lot of people. Yeah. But now the next time you come and you're like, you know what? The historic tour was great. Let's come do Violet City Lantern Tour. Yeah. And you know what? Since we're going to be back, why don't we do a little bit more of a rustic vacation? Let's head over, or, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's been eye-opening the last 2 weeks for me, traveling all over this Caveland area. And you know, it's just, it really is 3 different ideas almost when you're in these different counties. For sure. There's, you can get kind of any flavor of vacation that you want. Whatever your vacation speed is that you desire, like it's here. Well, I love that. You've got that on the website. Even. I do. That's one of my favorite things. I thought that was so smart though, to just be like, what pace do you want to go at? Exactly. Follow this. I mean, that's really good. That's because people need a little bit of guidance, I think, to just understand. Well, there's a lot. And this is such a unique thing for people traveling, especially if you're from the city. This is going to feel absolutely out of pocket for you a little bit. Yes. But in a great way. But I think, again, grab the brochure, go on the website. Yeah, because, I mean, you can drive around. Yeah, call me. You can drive around, like you said. It's great to drive around and you're just visually seeing everything, all the aesthetics that we have. But
if you're looking for something specific to do,
yes,
you're probably not just going to happen upon it.
Right.
Because we are a very dispersed county
yeah.
or even region. You know, I mean, we have our backcountry roads. We've got the hills and the loops and the twists, you know, I mean, that's just what we are.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have cut through nature. We did not like make it work with what we had to do. We made us work with it, you know, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think this is a good time, too, to remind people, if you're coming, especially in the summer, plan ahead.
Oh, for sure.
Because
especially cave tours. I'm going to say that
tours,
because they are incredibly popular. And they just recently, within the last month or two, they opened the crawling cave tours back. So this kind of that spelunking kind of thing, which I did that as a kid. I'm not sure I could do that as an adult. You know, when you look back, you're like, oh, that was crazy. I went in a cave and went down muddy, tiny little, I don't know if I could do that as an adult, but it's a wickedly cool, trail to do.
Yeah.
So, but those, you know, anything's going to sell out.
I mean,
so
I was
definitely
there yesterday.
Plan ahead and.
Yeah. There were about 3 options. When I say 3, like 3 times.
Yeah.
Not 3 tours. I mean, there were 3 different tours, but
but your options for what you're wanting.
Options were very limited for just showing up, and especially in the summertime.
Absolutely.
And we're not even in peak summer now because schools are back, but it was still packed. And, you know, same thing I'd say with the kayaking and anything else. I mean, call ahead and make sure you've got
almost like have your itinerary.
Yeah.
What you want to do and have made contact, at least so you know.
Get an idea of what you want to do because it's.
But if you get stuck at Mammoth Cave waiting on a tour, they just did all those renovations.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Like, did you go to the lodge?
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they did a really nice job.
And beautiful. And they're building cabins over there, too, so you're going to have more family cabins.
Yeah, they're doing so much.
They did the renovations on those cabins that had no air or heat.
Yeah.
They're going to be like 4-season cabins now. We're
nice.
Like, score.
Yeah.
You won't like swelter in the summer and freeze in the winter. But much like I was saying with the manager at Nolan Lake State Park, she's got so many ideas that, you know, a laundry list of things she wants to do. And they have a fantastic kids program. They have so much for kids and families to do while they're there.
I saw they've got an escape room up
there. They have an escape room. They have like a little butterfly habitat. Like you could release butterflies during a certain time.
Yeah.
I mean, she is really trying to think about, it's a family vacation. What do they want to do?
Yeah.
You know, more than just maybe the beach and camping. Like she's offered so much. But the same is with the superintendent at Mammoth Cave National Park. He constantly has a laundry list of things to improve the park, to build upon, you know, to make it a true destination. Yeah. And that just helps us, right? That just helps our little tourism directors over here who, you know, I'd be happy to tell them that you're doing this or that, you know, because it really interests people and it gets them here. And then we get to show off what we have. Well, we're very proud of it.
You should be.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And you know, like I said, I'm up here.
Yeah.
I don't even tell you guys sometimes I come up because I'm like, I'm going to take the day off and sneak up here.
We watch social media. We know when you're here.
You see when I'm
We know when you snuck in.
I can't help it. I always post a picture because it's always.
I'm the same way. I can't just not.
It's always so.
They always say watch what people care about. It's when they take pictures. What do they take pictures of? That's what you know they care about.
Yeah.
And I'm a hobbyist photographer, by no means professional, but that I love capturing those moments, and I love like landscape photos. It's just, I don't know. I like to look back and you've captured this peaceful moment or this beautiful moment. And like when we had the Northern Lights here, I mean, I was like as giddy as all gas. Like in Kentucky, we had Northern Lights. It was beautiful.
I know. I wish I'd driven up here. Well, I got some good pictures where I was, but I'm sure up here.
And quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then with Mammoth Cave Dark Sky, I mean, that's like the perfect spot for things because they don't have all that artificial light over there. You're actually truly getting a dark sky experience. So it's neat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing for photographers. Come up here. There is no end to the opportunities for landscapes, for wildlife.
Absolutely.
I mean,
all the action shots.
Yeah.
Go to Moody Deer. Another fun name, by the way. Moody Deer Resort and Marina on Nolan Lake. They just renovated.
Extra points if you can spell Moody Deer.
Right.
Because it is not. The first time somebody told me
they're
like
Moody Deer, you're like, I would have never.
Yeah, bookend the county with 2 places that you will never spell correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just did a complete renovation under new owners, and it is insanely beautiful. Like luxury pontoon boats, jet skis. You can rent equipment to go out on the day, out on the lake for the day. that's a beautiful place to photograph too. You got a lot of those beautiful lake homes.
Yeah.
That, you know, you see kind of in the bluffs and stuff. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's a great place for the sunset too.
Oh yeah.
Up there. That's facing the right way. That's a really
sunset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten some great shots there and at the tailwater.
Yes.
And both of them, it's just like, yeah.
Those are two places you can just park it, sit down, and just watch the world.
Just bring a bring a picnic lunch and
absolutely,
or picnic
sit
dinner
down there
and just hang out and
quite peaceful.
Yeah. Well, cool. Anything else you want to add in? I feel like we
have covered the whole gamut.
We've covered a lot, I mean, but I'm sure we left
basically
something
come visit.
Yeah, come visit.
Come visit.
Seriously. Where what's the website?
So it's www.cavesandlakes.com.
Okay. And then we'll put links to that and social media, follow along, because you guys are always telling.
We always try to post our events.
Yeah.
Anything that people might be interested in coming to do, our annual events, the ones that pop up, small events, big events.
Yeah.
All the stuff to do out here, all the activities.
And I'm amazed how often I see that you guys have a new restaurant or a new,
I know.
I went to BGB today.
Yes.
But I tried to go yesterday. I went to the wrong place because I went to the old building.
Oh, the old building.
I didn't realize
they have
had
recently moved over. Yes.
Which is awesome to see that they're doing well.
The boutique that they used to be on the second floor of, they're expanding.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of under some renovations. So BGB Cafe and Coffee House moved over. Yeah. And you said you went to PJ's Cafe.
I did.
Did they tell you they're opening PJ's Roadhouse up in Bay Spring?
Yes.
And it's going to be kind of catfish focused.
Okay.
But they're going to have other things as well. But they're going to be, so they're going to keep PJ's, and that's more of like a breakfast lunch. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm sorry. PJ's Cafe. PJ's Roadhouse will be like lunch dinner.
Okay.
So
because they said that the menu that is here will not overlap. They're going to have
it's going to be very different.
So it'll be two different things.
You know, we used to have Walden's Barbecue, which we were all very sad to see go.
Yeah.
But they have sold, and I don't know what's going in there yet. That's been a very recent thing, but that's going to be a new restaurant for us.
Good. Yeah.
You said you're going to Porky Pig. That's new ownership, and they've really kind of turned that one around. They've renovated some.
Oh, okay.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
So.
I had a great experience there a few years ago, but I'm excited to go back and check that out.
And I like when, so we had a staple restaurant here forever called Birdie's. And it was
yeah.
Well, when they decided to retire, which was long overdue for them because they have worked their tails off, right? Like they deserve their retirement. But then we had a local buy that. So now it's Webb's Eats and Treats. And I love that something went in there immediately. It wasn't a dead space anymore. Like people are still confident and we're going to, serve this community.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not, it was a staple, but now Webb's is a staple. That's where you go to get your chocolate ice cream cone.
I went and got a pineapple sundae.
Ooh, yum.
It was so good. Yeah.
Did you go to Warnell's? Have you been to Warnell's?
Yes, I went in there for lunch yesterday.
Love that soda. It's a old-timey soda shop.
Yeah.
And it's literally authentic. It's like half pharmacy, half soda shop. They have the stools, the little like wire heart chairs that you can sit at the tables. I love it.
It was really neat. What was really neat too is like some kids came in. They were a little bit older, but not like driving age. I don't even know how they got there. They came.
They may have walked.
Yeah, they may have walked. I don't know.
For some,
but they just popped up at the counter and ordered their sodas. And I mean, I was like, this is just a throwback. But it didn't feel put on at all. It was just they're doing their thing.
And they're very chill there. Like they're just
you
just go in and have your experience.
Food is good. Yeah. Food's been good everywhere. I know. Yeah.
One you'll have to try is Kristen's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Did you go past that? Because that's our most southern restaurant before you get out of the county. And so she's in with, there's two boutiques that are in front of the building and she's in the back of the building. And she does a lot of catering, but she's like a master specialist of like charcuterie boards.
Oh, okay.
Look her up online. Her boards are they're like too pretty to eat.
Yeah.
Like they're just perfectly put. But she's the one that catered the event.
That was hers. Okay.
Yeah, that was hers.
I have had, that food was great.
Yeah. So we've north to south, we've got,
and you got the old staple, the Wildcat Den.
Oh, go play around a pool in there.
Yeah, I mean, I
some
went
old
in there.
Some old school arcade games in there.
I feel like if I spent a day in there, I would learn a lot about this county that maybe doesn't need to be shared.
Yeah. If you go in the morning,
Yeah.
What do they? I love this. I had not heard this term. This was a new term for me, a new Southern term. But the liars table
club.
or the liars bench or the liars.
Yeah.
I love that term. But I love that you can go. Like there are certain restaurants in the morning you go past, you see the exact same cars, and you know
same cars.
The crew is there having their coffee and their breakfast and just chit chatting, right? You know, and then a lot of them are farmers and they'll go and farm. And I love that about this. Like you have those regulars.
Yeah.
You know?
I love anywhere. If you go into a place in the Liars Club there, you know the food's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know the coffee's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get into the table
you know
for a few minutes, you're going to get some stories that, again, may or may not be true.
That's right. But they are always interesting.
They're always interesting. And that's half the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good deal. Well,
thanks for spending
for spending some time with me and chatting about Edmonson County. And
it's been fun.
Yeah, go to the website, check it out, or just come here and explore. Seriously.
Come and get lost.
It's great. Get lost. It's great. I always say you're not lost unless you're under a half tank of gas.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, I like that. You're just out wandering.
Yep.
You're just wandering. You get below a half tank, now you're not sure if you can get home.
Yeah, now you don't really know what turn to take.
You got to turn back.
Yeah. But it's like your Sunday, your typical Sunday drive. It's always like that here. You just drive around and see what there is to see.
Yeah, there is so much to see.
Absolutely.
So, and we'll be showing some more on my page as well.
Perfect. So, well, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. It was fun.
We'll do it again sometime.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you.